Friends, I want to talk about politics. I concede and I admit that I'm disappointed with how the Trump campaign has performed recently. And I'm not just referring to the Wisconsin debacle. I think I've given my thoughts regarding that issue. But moving forward, there doesn't seem to be the gusto and the pizzazz that defined the Trump campaign. And when you look at the recent polling numbers, you start to see that in a national contest against Hillary Clinton, Trump will not do well. And it's sad because we don't have that many good candidates from where we could choose. There's no pool of great options here. Even if the Republicans choose Ted Cruz, he is an establishment monster. He is a liar. He has been proven to be a liar, and very few are willing to call him out on those issues. And when you stack him up against Hillary Clinton, I still say that Hillary Clinton wipes the floor with him because he just doesn't have the support outside of, the Bible Belt USA. And certainly with the liberal media controlling the dialogue and the framework, Ted Cruz really has no chance. And then you look at John Kasich. I don't know why he's there outside of a Hail Mary hope that somehow in the brokered convention process that his name miraculously pops up. Otherwise, he has almost zero chance of being the Republican candidate, and it would be absurd for the Republicans to pick John Kasich because he's won only one state. How can you beat Hillary Clinton when you can only grab one state, your own home state? That makes utterly no sense. I mean, this is not a state convention. This is a national convention here. So the Kasich argument really doesn't have a foundation upon which to stand. Going back to Trump, I really believe, despite some of the obvious flaws, besides some of the obvious bravado and some of the offensive remarks that he has made, the bottom line is Donald Trump is the best choice for America because we are the laughing stock of the world right now. Everybody dumps their problems on us. And we, the taxpayers, have to pay for these problems. Donald Trump, I believe, has the right character and the right composition. Look, he's an asshole. I think nobody would disagree with the fact that Donald Trump is an asshole. But the thing is, he is our asshole. He is the asshole that works for America. He is an American asshole. He is the great American asshole that can stand up to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong, whatever his name is, and all the terrorist organizations. He will not back down. He has that steel composition. He has that steel constitution that draws fear from our enemies. I don't see Ted Cruz having that dominant imposition. Ted Cruz really appears to be a polished beta male. Same thing with John Kasich, a very polished beta male. And we've become a country that is conditioned to be attracted to beta males, to be attracted to yes men, to be attracted to people who take orders for their entire lives. Donald Trump does not take orders. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand because we've become a beta male society. We get freaked out. Honestly, we get freaked out when we see an alpha male like Donald Trump. We find that alpha maleness to be offensive, and we don't know how to process what we interpret as vitriol from an alpha male. And I get it. Sometimes Donald Trump goes overboard And I wish that the Donald Trump campaign would just be a little bit more sly, a little bit more discerning as to when to unleash the Trump and when to hold the Trump back, hold the Donald back. The biggest disappointment I have is the issue about the wives, about when the super PAC supporting Ted Cruz launched that attack on Melania Trump. That was an opportunity for Donald Trump to take the high road and say, hey, look at lying Ted. Look at his supporters. Look how they're so scared of me that they're attacking my wife. He did not have to launch into the same juvenile attack. He could have taken the high road, and then that would have forced the media to look squarely at Ted Cruz. But because Donald Trump obviously didn't take that road, and instead he lashed out on Twitter with you got to say it was a pretty silly, facile attack, a counterattack. The media, he see, this is the thing. Donald Trump gave the media second life, second wind, and I don't understand what the campaign management team is doing here. They should have immediately said to Donald, this is an opportunity. Let's hold back. Let's take the high road. I mean, you got to be slick. You've got to be cunning in a way. You got to be. You have to discern this situation, and you got to play politics when it's time to play politics. This is a perfect opportunity to play politics and to put the attention squarely on Ted Cruz. That would have put Ted Cruz on the defensive. That would have questioned Ted Cruz's integrity. That would have especially questioned Ted Cruz's integrity towards his views on women. That would have put a lot of question marks on him. That would have impugned him in a way, suggesting that Ted Cruz isn't all that hot on women's issues because, as we know, Donald Trump is perceived to be anti-woman. So this was a perfect opportunity to lay a whole lot of questions on Ted Cruz. Instead, he went for the juvenile counterattack. And yes, that's responsibility ultimately on Donald Trump, but also there's responsibility by the campaign management team. The campaign manager has got to say, Mr. Trump, this is our opportunity to really put the nail in the coffin. No, instead what happened is they took the nail out of the coffin and resuscitated the corpse, and now the corpse is the Walking Dead. And because now the corpse is the Walking Dead, see, I say Ted Cruz is the Walking Dead because he has really no chance. He has to still win like 90% of the delegates out there. But his strategy is a Walking Dead strategy. It's just to stay alive until the brokered convention, because it's starting to get very clear that Donald Trump may not win out in terms of the delegates that he needs. So it's more and more likely that we're going to get into this brokered convention. And that's what I don't understand. You have this zombie Ted, and all it took was to put that kill shot right in the head, right in between the eyes. And the Donald Trump campaign did not do that, and went for a very guttural counterattack that may have felt really good at the time. May have felt good for the hour that the tweet was sent, but then afterwards, that cost you Wisconsin. That cost the whole campaign Wisconsin. And that cost the team momentum. Now you got to get back that momentum in New York, and you got to do well in New York because, lying Ted, he's working it. You've got to make sure that you get a dominant victory in New York, and then you're going back to a similar state in terms of Indiana. That's going to be very problematic. If you couldn't win Wisconsin, what is your strategy on winning Indiana? So this is a whole slew of problems that just did not have to occur, and I'm very disappointed in that. I think I have a series of solutions, and I would like to do a video on my solutions. But the first solution is to get rid of that campaign manager. Get rid of the campaign manager and have someone that really knows what they're doing, really understands the psychology of the American people. And that's the only way. You've got to take this race seriously. You've got to take the opponent seriously. Underestimating the opposition at this point is a critical mistake. These are common sense lessons that should have been learned. I mean, Mr. Trump has dealt out a lot of lessons in his reality show, The Apprentice. And it's frustrating because that same advice could have been applied so many times in his campaign, and his campaign manager should have reminded him of those apprentice lessons. Because if half of the lessons that were learned and that were displayed in the Apprentice show, that were taught in that show, were applied to the Donald Trump campaign, we would not be in this situation. But we got too sidetracked with ancillary issues. And because we got so sidetracked with the ancillary issues, it gave second life to Ted Cruz. It gave second life to the liberal media who love nothing more than to attack Donald Trump over and over and over again. What I don't understand, the critical flaw that was made and that it continues to be made by the Donald Trump campaign, is to give ammunition to the liberal media. And then not only that, but to douse your own house with gasoline and then give them the match. I don't understand this tactic. I think, and I'm disappointed to say this, but it seems like the Trump campaign, the Trump team, got a little bit too arrogant. We can fix these problems. All these problems, I believe, are fixable, but we've got to make some drastic cuts. And one of those, it has to be the campaign manager. He has got to go.